Hello and welcome back, Tech Stalkers. Today's video will be another math video, and today's video will be talking about conic sections. It's an introduction to conic sections, and I will actually be having a playlist all talking about conic sections. So this video is an introduction. So I'll be talking about the different conic sections we will be looking at. So as you can see in front of me, I have four different conic sections: parabolas, circles, ellipses, and hyperbolas. So in the first video or the next video, I'll be talking about the parabolas, and then circles, and then ellipses, and then hyperbolas. First, let's look at parabolas as an introduction. I'll be looking at each one um, and defining it simply. So as you can see, parabolas are these drawings that, not drawings, sorry, graphs that looks like this. They're curved. It has a maximum or a minimum, and it opens to one side of the graph. So we have four sides. Okay, when it is a parabola, it could be vertical or horizontal. The axis of symmetry could be vertical or horizontal. So as you can see, I have a parabola that has a vertical axis of symmetry, and when I say an axis of symmetry, what I mean is this line that cuts through the center of the parabola, and the center of the parabola here is this dot. It meant to be the origin 0, 0, but my drawing ruined it. This is what we call a parabola. This is the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. What do we mean by the axis of symmetry? It means that this side is similar to this side. So this side is the same units away from this axis as this side is. Okay, but obviously it's not because of my drawing again. It's not precise, not scale. So it means these are equal, all right? Okay, so as you can see, this table will tell us how to find many information about the parabolas, and we will actually use this information to graph the parabola. Okay, so as you can see, we have the equation of the parabola. We have two sides. The side here for the one that has a vertical axis of symmetry, and this one for the one that has a horizontal axis of symmetry, and I'll be showing you what I mean by horizontal axis of symmetry. This is obviously a parabola that has a horizontal axis of symmetry. Okay, so now that I've explained the two types, as you can see, this table tells us the opening direction. It tells us the vertex. What do we mean by the vertex is this point here, which we can't say it is technically the center, but it's like the vertex. It's not a center, but it is the vertex. In other conic sections, though, H and K represents the center. Okay. Focus. The focus is a bit in front of the vertex right here. We will be dealing with the focus in many different conic sections. For example, the parabola has one focus, and others have two. Okay, so now that we're done with the focus, we have what is so called the directrix, which is a line below. Um, we will be talking about it more in the next few videos. And the lattice rectum is this bit here. Alright, so you don't have to memorize everything in this video. You don't have to understand everything in this video. We will look deeply into this in the next video. Now let's move to circles. A quick look about circles would be that in conic section lessons, uh, you usually have a circle. Oh, this is definitely not a circle. Okay, you have a circle, you're given the center and maybe the center and a point, and maybe you're asked to find the equation of the circle. It's about equations of circles basically. So in the circle we have a center, okay? The center is either 0, 0 or hk, all right? The r is the radius, okay? And the radius is the point from the center to any point on the circle. And we will be using this equation for circles that have their center at the origin, 0, 0, and this equation for circles that have their center uh, somewhere else, like not at the origin. Alright, that was it for the circle. We're not going deeper than this for this video. Ellipses. So what is an ellipse? You've probably seen one. This is a vertical ellipse. This is a horizontal ellipse. So we are looking at equations for ellipses. When we're talking about conic sections, we have an equation for a horizontal ellipse and an equation for a vertical ellipse. As you can see, let me remove this. Oh no. Okay, as you can see, the only thing that switched from here to here is the positions of x and y. But this is by looking at it as an equation. Now what happens in reality is, if the ellipse is horizontal, the A, which represents the major axis, which is the tallest or the longest axis in the ellipse, would be under the x, under the x if it's horizontal, and it would be under the y if it's vertical. All right, we will look into this deeply in the next few videos. And as I said here, we don't have one focus, we have two actually. We will look about we will look more into graphing ellipse and where to place each point and what is the value of c. And we have the length of the the major axis and the minor axis, the two axes we have in the ellipse. So the major axis is obviously the longest one, and the minor axis is the shortest one, right? So an A unit is something from here to here. This is an A unit. So the length of this whole major axis is 2a. Now the length of this is b. The length of the whole minor axis is 2b's. So we will explore this more in the ellipse video. And we have our last, we have our last conic section, which is hyperbola, the hyperbola or hyperbolas. Um, Hyperbolas have a little bit more details, especially in graphing, but we'll get to that. So hyperbola is this shape shown here. So we can have a horizontal one and a vertical one. And as you can see, here we have the equations for hyperbolas that have a center, hyperbolas that have the center 0, 0, and here for hyperbolas that have the center hk, which basically means somewhere else. And we don't have one focus, we have more. They call them foci or foci, I'm not even sure about the pronunciation of this. And we have a transverse axis. What is a transverse axis? As you can see, let's say those are my this is like the hyperbola, and the axis here between these two, the vertex of this one and the vertex of this one, we call these, by the way, the vertices. Um, we call this line here the transverse axis. All right. So let's imagine there are more dotted lines here, and we have the conjugate axis, which is this line here. I can't draw without a grid very well, so I'm just going to point at the transverse axis, the conjugate axis, and the red one is the transverse axis. So we'll get to understand these more when graphing them. We have the conjugate axis. All right. So yeah, some popular expressions that we will see in conic sections is x minus h and y minus k, and obviously h and k, which are the center or the vertex of one of the conic sections. Now for this video, what you need to know or to remember how a hyperbola or parabola looks, how circle equation works, generally, not deeply, and that there are two types of ellipses. One is a horizontal ellipse and the second is vertical. Two types of hyperbolas, and don't forget the h and k, which could be a center or a vertex that is not at the origin, and this x minus h and y minus k expressions that we will be using a lot in conic sections. So this was today's video. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share the video for those people who have exams or lessons about conic sections, and subscribe to my channel so I can make more videos. See you guys in the next video.